This morning on BRN, your risk of cancer may actually fluctuate before you're born. And joining me now to discuss this and a lot more are Dr. Andrew Pospisilik and Dr. Panzeri of the Van Andel Institute. Doctors Pospisilik and Panzeri, great to see you. Thanks for joining us on the program this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this is very interesting research, Dr. Pospisilik. When I think about cancer and cancer risks, a lot of times I hear diet, I hear alcohol. But according to the research that you and Dr. Panzeri have done, there's actually risk, and your genetic predisposition could be set in the womb.
Yep, you've nailed it exactly. So I think the key finding, I wouldn't say that our study says that genetics isn't important or that diet isn't important, but a lot of more random differences that can occur between us. Every time you can imagine a ball rolling down the same hill, it might roll a bit to the left or a bit to the right because of just stochastic differences that happen as you release the ball, even if it's, like I said, rolling down the same hill. And development's the same way. We've got processes that help us emerge as human beings, as we should, right? And mice emerge as mice should every time development happens. But there can be those microscopic, let's call them, or those stochastic differences that happen. And what the study shows is that some of those are really reproducible, and so that you can get different preferred states that happen, one or two of which would be better for cancer or worse.
This is Dr. Excuse me, 3, 2, 1. Dr. Panzeri, I want to get your reaction to the work that you and Dr. Pospisilik have done. It's groundbreaking, and certainly there probably are some lessons for mothers and families out there.
Yeah, I'm a mother myself, so it's always tricky to implement dietary changes when you're pregnant, for example. But even what has been studied in the past showed us that it can be really important, and some changes has been made in medical recommendations to mothers as well. So this really tells us that we can do something during development to change the fate of our sons long terms. So it's really an area that's worth investigating more and more, I think. Epigenetics, sorry.
Go ahead, finish your thought, I'm sorry.
Differently from genetics, predisposition to cancer, epigenetics really gives us a window where we can act more easily to change the fate that we are in.
Yeah, and just to kind of follow up on that, I remember growing up I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so I'm a 70s baby, and I remember, the mothers were not supposed to smoke, not drink alcohol when they were pregnant. I guess what, could be inferred by the research, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but, staying away from processed foods, for example, and other unhealthy behaviors while you're pregnant and while you're having a baby grow inside of you.
Yeah, I think that's it exactly. Of course, our study doesn't dissect which exact of those factors would be most important, but that idea, if you consider anything bad to be malnutrition, anything that would avoid that a developing fetus is at all malnourished, I think we've known that those kind of things will impact your obesity, your diabetes, and sort of the metabolic disease world. But certainly we think very much of cancer as this late life disease that requires lots of time. And during that time, we accumulate some bad luck mutation, and then everything's dependent on that mutation that we got, right? And so people haven't really been thinking about, certainly not your early life. We only think about children and cancer when it's that rare category of childhood cancers, right? But this gives us the implication that maybe one day in 10 or 20 years, there will be a test when you're born on your cord blood or on that blood spot that they take when you're born that also gives you a relative cancer risk assessment that if lifelong you should be, you or your doctor should always be a little bit more aware, should do a little bit more regular screening than someone else that maybe has a resistant state.
And could we ever get to a point where it feels like to me, I mean, other than the point of conception, this is kind of the beginning. Could we get to a point of eradicating cancer completely by, if you, not we, but if you have identified that in the womb has a big predictiveness to having cancer, could we actually work backwards from that to eliminate it completely? Knowing that it also, if you maintain good, healthy behaviors in your life.
I think that's probably beyond what we can promise. In the end, how I said, during your lifetime, you accumulate mutations. A small subset of those are mutations that can cause cancer. And then in a very small subset of the cells that have those mutations, they actually escape and become a cancer. So it's like rolling rolling dice with 1,000 sides. And at one point you hit that one bad side that gives you cancer. So I don't think we'll ever be able to remove the fact that these mutations do happen. They happen at a certain rate because of molecular processes. So we'll never stop that, but that we can prepare the body and our lifestyles and our health to a point that resists those few cells that we will inevitably get and resists the possibility that they then turn into a cancer. I think that is a realistic assumption. What it does is add a new time window and dimension to what we should be looking for when we think about cancer risk. Everything else that was out there in the field, that's still all valid, right? Mutations, epigenetic control of mutations, all the different types of cancer and their unique mechanisms, that all exists. And this just shifts our focus to, hey, there might have been even earlier predisposing factors that we should be aware of.
Yeah, I mean, it's groundbreaking. From a layperson, it's groundbreaking to hear this information, and I'm just wondering, the impact for multiple generations to come. I mean, the science is only going to get better. The predictiveness is only going to get better. So I guess we'll see the benefits to come. Doctors, we're going to have to leave it there. Great to see you. Great groundbreaking research, and we look forward to having you both back on the program again very soon.
Thanks very much, Jeff.
Thank you.
And don't forget to subscribe to our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse, for all the news in one place. Details, of course, are at our website, and your subscription helps support all this great content on BRN. And we're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRN. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.